Wait there just a minute, buddy. Rewind the...
Hi guys, welcome to this very special milestone episode. It's our 2-year anniversary of starting this infernal podcast.
This sack of... No, I'm joking.
The biggest commitment in my life of recent years. Okay, aside from my cat and dog, but I guess they don't count.
Say, you're a homeowner.
But I mean things like outside of all that stuff. Yeah, things that you consistently are just actually doing, like going to work, which FYI I am not. So this is like doing this podcast, and we don't even do it every week when, you know, we have our break.
Compared to like most podcasts, we are never on.
It's like it being in a relationship and being like, but we're just going to break for the summer so I can have a hot girl summer and then we can come back in cuffing season, even though I didn't even do that.
That has actually happened to me and I've just realised.
Oh my God. You actually did it. You cheated on me. We both said we'll give ourselves summer off so that we can have some fun. And I didn't.
To be honest, I only flirted and got attention. And
okay, fine.
That was more meaningful to me than my dating in possibly the last 5 years and what it's done for my self-esteem and confidence.
Okay.
I'm just feeling sexy. Do you know what I mean? I'm sorry, guys. I know that's cringe, but I'm at the age where I need to feel sexy.
I'm so happy for you. I feel the opposite of that. So maybe I do need to maybe I need to hear what you did so that I can see if I can replicate that.
I was just outside in a country where other people considered me to be attractive.
Okay, great. So I'll have to leave the country then.
Or just like...
No, that's it. Leave the country.
I was going to say, like, just go. There are certain places in London you can go that you will definitely...
Oh, God.
Feel.
Well,
I'm just saying, wealthy men always make you feel hot.
No, they don't. You can't feel hot when you're also feeling physically sick and repulsed.
Oh, it depends. I feel like there is... Okay, so if you give me 100, I'll find 3. Do you know what I mean?
100 men.
Okay, so I walk into this club. There's like some weird old stuffy bar full of creepy men. There's 3 that I would let. They don't know that though. They don't know that, and I will never tell them.
But it's also like the 3 that are unlikely to then give you. I'm speaking for myself, to give you the attention. So you're like, Natalie, putting in the work.
I'm telling you,
the eye contact. It's the biggest creep that comes up to you.
No. I'm telling you, outside has changed. I know you don't believe me.
You were in a different country.
I know. Maybe I'm delusional, but I swear to you, there has been a shift. There are men outside. I'll prove it to you.
You need to state your case, and then I'll decide.
Oh, okay. So this is just something that's never happened to me before. You can meet men in the airport. That's when, but it's also different because I'm at an age where I've realized that you were right, I am mistress age, right? So I'm at an age where people are either want to who are looking for a wife and meet, like they think, okay, she's like a good choice. And that's never happened to me before.
No. And then at our age, you're one of 2 women.
Yeah. And then
turns out Ruth and I are
the mistress. Yeah. People who have a wife, they're going crazy.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not reciprocated. The problem is you have to try to find out. Do you know what I mean? You have to engage to find out if they have a wife or not.
Yes. And you still can't guarantee that they won't lie to you.
Oh, absolutely. You have to kind of assume everyone's over a certain age is married or in a serious relationship.
Yes.
That's probably been true that our whole lives have just only climbed up. People love to cheat. They love side pieces. And there's something about us that apparently makes us the perfect, we have the mistress qualities they're looking for.
But I just don't understand that because I am even more awkward and strange when people try and talk to me. I'm
Yeah.
not like flirty or like mean like I used to be. So I'm just trying to be kind to somebody having a conversation.
That's the thing. They think you're a walkover. It is. Because my cousin said something to me, because there was this guy that was like talking to me and stuff, and then he eventually confessed he was married. I was like, okay. But my cousin, and he kept going on about how when he saw me, because I was wearing like I wouldn't say a slutty dress, but I was wearing like a deep V, like satin number. But I also had my glasses on, and he kept going on about my glasses. And then my cousin was like, he probably thought, like, she was talking about the way that she's realized people think, because like she's nearly 40 now. She's, when everyone's so simple to you after a while. She was like, people equate like people who wear glasses with being like sensible and reserved. So he probably just thought like, you're going to like not cost that much. Like, no, seriously.
Oh, wow. It's so funny because here we are just being like, the Mistress type. People think that we're, in our minds, it's because we're like
glamorous
and sexy and glamorous, and they really want a bit of that because they're not getting it at home. But it's like exactly what you said. They think that we're pushovers, and now that's like blown my mind that you said that. It's because it's not about people going out and have that sexy, steamy affair.
But
it's
they want
literally
that. But they want it with someone who won't blow their shit up, who will never come forward and say. Do you know what I mean? They don't want someone who's going to call. So they're going for people who are like sexy in a geeky, sensible way. And that's where we come in.
Jennifer Aniston in The Good Girl.
I can't remember that film. The only Jennifer Aniston film that I've ever loved was Picture Perfect.
Oh yeah,
that is her masterpiece. I'm not going to make fun of Jennifer Aniston anymore, but. That's all I'll say on that.
Okay, so tell me about meeting somebody at the airport.
Okay, so on the way there and on the way back, I met the guy on the way there was better not better, he was worse because he was more like.
Where did you meet him though? I need the details on the plane. Okay. See, I never get that. I'm always like, you're walking down the aisle and thinking, who's going to be sat next to me? You already get there, old couple. Great. We're not, but it's fine, whatever. This is my experience of my recent holiday. Okay, fine. At least they'll just, whatever. It's a short flight. On my way back, I got to the seat first. I had priority boarding.
Ooh.
And then the people sat next to me, insufferable couple.
No, I don't think they should be allowed on planes. Sorry.
Separate them. Split them up. Do not put them next to me.
No. Annoying. Then again, whenever I've been in a couple on a plane, I'm not going to lie, my boyfriend's annoyed me. I've never got on a plane with a guy and been like, ooh. I've always been like, shut the fuck up. Why are we together?
Which is even more insulting when you were sat next to them. Because you're like, by right, you're coming back home and you should be fucking pissed off with each other by now.
No,
you had a good holiday. Fuck off.
They might have had a good holiday. Also, I just think they're faking it. They hate each other.
Okay, so by some lucky coincidence or unlucky, depending on how we want to judge the story afterwards, you're walking down the aisle. Is he already there?
I can't remember.
Okay, well, whatever.
Sorry,
you're sat next to each other.
Yeah. Also, I think it's also that I'm older and what I'm looking for has changed. Like before, I'd have been like, if I was hoping, I've never hoped to sit next to anyone I can even get along with. But if I was sitting next to someone before when I was younger, I'd be like, oh my God, imagine if it's like the hottest guy ever. Now I'm just like, I want someone with good chat and a lot of money.
Okay. And and he had both.
Well, the thing is, there's a difference between like, I feel like having a lot of money and then something that's more useful to us, which is having expendable income. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Being like towards your 40s and not having kids or a wife. I'm not saying you have to pay for your wife, guys. Oh my God. Welcome to the 1960s, everyone. But like, clearly is ready to risk it all. But like,
sorry, have we already maybe we've already had this chat on the podcast before, but what's the male equivalent of a mistress?
A mistress.
Such a word for that.
A mistress as whore. I don't know,
so
side
the
piece?
man that's partaking in a relationship extramaritally.
Oh, he's a dirty low down cheese. Sorry. That goes for women too, because women love cheating on their wives too. I just think there's something about being married to a woman that makes people want to cheat. I don't know what it is. They're like, I could do this all day. Let me get tempo.
Okay, so wait, and you were also both wearing masks as well, right?
No.
Oh,
sorry. No, I wore a mask. The only time I wore a mask was because I didn't fly directly, on the way back had to fly through Paris, because I sat down and the guy next to me was wearing a mask, and I think he was with his mom, and it was freezing or whatever. So sometimes I wear one to heat up or whatever, but I wasn't going to. Okay. And then his mum was coughing and he had a mask on, which made me think, obviously he knows something I don't. Let me put it on. Yeah. Only for them to swap seats. And she's coughing like a toddler, by the way. And this is a woman also who got on the plane and like disinfected her seat. I did that too. On the way there, I like got on with my wipes, wiped it down. Then I was like, I don't have a mask. But she was worse because she's like coughing on me. I had to like turn my back to her. I was like, what is going on?
At least that was a short trip.
Yeah, and I was too tired to
Okay. Right, so going back to the first leg.
Yeah.
Who started chatting with who?
I can't remember. It's probably me. You know how I am.
But you swapped numbers.
To talk. We'd never swapped numbers.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So what happened was, by the time we got to the airport, I was obviously flying with my brother, but we coincidentally got onto, because I didn't realize that if you're flying, a lot of people who are flying to Nigeria from North America fly through Europe.
Yeah, because it'll probably be the airport that they have to fly through, the hub of the airline that they're traveling with.
I just didn't know that was a thing.
They probably aren't. Yeah, that is weird. Maybe you think
my family from Texas were there, so it's like, okay, now I'm surrounded.
Yeah.
I was like, oh. Yeah, so it was like kind of awkward. And the thing is, he should have just asked me, because he was asking me if I wanted to go out that night with him and his friends, and I was like, I can't.
Wait, this was that you met him on the flight from London to Amsterdam, or Birmingham to Amsterdam?
From Amsterdam to Lagos. But he'd come from, because I flew from Birmingham, but he'd flown from London.
Right.
But it's just the fact that he was like basically saying, like, because I was saying I can't really party that much this time, blah, blah, blah. He was like, because by the time I was free to like go out, he would have already been back, because he was just there for 10 days. And he was like, why don't you come back at Christmas? And I was like, what, to party? And he was like, yeah, if somebody got you a ticket, would you come back? And then I was like, oh my God. That's when I realized, okay, this has changed. My life has changed now, because there was no way a few years ago I'd be sitting in economy and someone would offer to fly me out.
No.
And then it happened on the way back as well, where someone was like, if I bought you your ticket, would you come back for Christmas?
And would you?
I mean, I don't know.
I guess if you could be like, if I can stay with my family and not like...
No, they'll never see me. I'd have to do a bit of both. The thing is, there are some hotels there that I would really like to stay in, because they're kind of fancy. But at the same time, to be honest, it's not that I'm scared. It's that it's so weird. Like, as I've gotten older, I feel like I've got more reserved, maybe more traditional. I just want to be safe. I feel like when I was like rejecting the idea of like any sort of conformity and doing whatever I wanted, I feel like
that was the time. Yeah, you should have called me then.
No, I was in danger then. Oh God, like I wouldn't like. Yeah. And now it's just like I'm safer, but I'm less trusting. I'm like, especially after watching that, guys, don't watch that show, Dharma. Don't watch it.
No, thanks. No, not for me.
Horrible. I don't know why I watched it. Because like I'm going for walks now and I'm scared. And I was already scared.
Yeah.
Horrible. But yeah, you never know who you're going to meet. Okay, let's move on in subject. But basically, guys, if you're looking to meet a man, take an international flight and just hang out at the airport.
Yeah. Or you could do get your trusty puzzle book out and just be doing puzzles while sat on the riverbank in Lisbon.
Do tell. That sounds romantic as fuck, by the way.
And if I was a different person, maybe it would have been. And if he was a different person, maybe it would have been. It could have been.
I didn't hate people. It could have been cute.
I was waiting because I was traveling to Porto that day. So I just needed to kill a few hours before my train. So I thought I'll go walk around, go and sit on the river and do my puzzles. It was a gorgeous day. And then I'll have something to eat and I'll go and get my bags and get the train. So I'm doing this puzzle book, and I'd seen this guy because he was talking to somebody else, a woman who'd put down like a Brazilian flag. He was talking to her, and he had a can of beer in his hand. So I was like, oh, Jesus. Yeah. And then and it was pre-12 p.m. guys. Again, not judging if you want to crack open a beer.
I am.
But whatever. And then maybe half an hour later, he comes along and is like, "Oh, can I have a cigarette?" I'm just like, I don't smoke. I'm sorry. And then that was his cue to just start talking to me. He was perfectly nice, but it was also like,
is he drunk or just drinking?
He was a bit drunk, yeah. Because he just finished, if any of this is to be believed.
We don't believe anything anyone does.
I don't, yeah. He just finished a 6-month contract where he had to be sober because he was a helicopter pilot.
To be honest, it's believable.
Sure, yeah. And then he was saying that he really just wanted to play guess where I'm from, guess this. And I was like, I'm not playing that game. He's like, I guess where you were from. You entered into that yourself. I'm not guessing that. Turns out he was from South Africa, but his parents were Portuguese. But then he didn't really feel like he belonged in South Africa.
He
moved to Turkey for a bit, and he felt like he belonged there, but then he didn't because he wasn't Muslim. Oh, God, yeah. It's like,
why didn't he just move to Portugal if he wanted to feel at home?
He then did, and then felt like he was. But he also had this thing.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I'm sorry.
It was, yeah.
And then I moved back to my ancestral home, and I realised this.
He was culturally, he felt South African, but obviously by heritage, he's Portuguese. So it's kind of like, I feel it. It's as a lot of people. I'm very familiar with that. That kind of displaced kind of feeling.
The person that I'm going to feel the least sorry for is the one that is from an economically stable country, who's colonized other nations, who's then going to other nations and wants me to feel like, go home, please. Go. This isn't the same as the feeling of being displaced where you can't go home. Please get a grip, sober up, sir. If you're here to spend the cash, let's spend it. Let's go to a bar, but I will not engage in your games.
Also, no, I just didn't want to do that. Do you know what I mean? And I was like,
he's ruining your vibe.
And I was trying to just be nice and polite because I was like, you know what? At least get credit to him. He's come over. He's had a chat. I don't want to be a dick like I would have been when I was younger. But then that obviously just inflames the situation.
Was he giving you the
creeps? I like you. And then he was like, "Hey, can I buy you a kebab?"
It's very specific.
He's like, "Oh, it's right over there. It's very public and open. If you're worried about that,
It sounds like he does this a lot.
I asked him, obviously. It does seem like you'd go and talk to people a lot and ask for a cigarette, which is fine. Maybe it works, but whatever. But we did the whole fucking gay age guessing thing. And this is where I sort of fall a little bit out of the mistress thing, because people always assume that I'm younger than I am, a lot. And the older I get, the more pronounced that difference, that age gap gets, because somehow I'm not aging. And I don't mean that to be look at me, I'm not aging. It's just
I'm frozen in time.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
He was thought that I was like 23. And I was like, well, you're way off. And then
you
obviously
did,
there's
sir. I bet you
surprise.
did.
Yeah. But so that's the thing that like kind of weirds me out a bit now. And especially as I'm getting older, because now, guys, I turned 35 a couple of weeks ago. So that is quite a big age difference from 23. So if guys, and he was 35, if guys are approaching me that are like my age but think that I'm 23, and he wasn't like wildly disappointed that it was old. So I'm not insinuating that the main thing is that he's a creep that wants to, not that you are if you want to talk to younger girls, but there is something about me that's kind of like, I don't know, I feel weird.
I don't know how I feel about this. No, I know.
Going up to like young women who were not so very long ago actual girls. Like it, I don't know what you now think you're hoping to extract from this. Now I know that you thought that I was that young, and I'm not. But that's not like an isolated incident. So I think that for me now, with like guys will come up and talk to me because I think I'm quite a lot younger, and then I have to be like, no, I'm not, and either maybe they're disappointed or I'm like, this is now weird. Or they would not talk to me at all because they think that I am younger. So then I get nothing.
But I think it depends. If a guy's talking to you and he talks to like a lot of a breadth of women, do you know what I mean? And then he thinks you're younger, then he finds out you're older and he was interested in you. I think you should go with it. But you won't know, because there's also guys that will only speak to people Leonardo DiCaprio style. So it's how do you know which one's which?
Oh, I think they'll immediately be like, oh, you're 35. I think that that will be fairly obvious. But
is that real? I know that is real. I know there are men like that, but it's just crazy, don't they? Like, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know, I'm like, because I've not really been taking any of it seriously, my genuine repulsion for men has kind of like gone, because I'm just like, this is just fun. This is just funny. But I know when I'm like back in the game and I like, okay, I want to meet somebody now, and I get back when I come back
when
down
you've got
to
skin in the
earth,
game, so to speak.
Yeah, then it's going to be like, oh my God, I forgot you were all compulsive liars and weirdly abusive.
In ways that you don't think are abusive, but let me tell you they are.
Yeah, I feel like, you're just like, there's nothing wrong with this. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, well. Great. Did anything else? Any other?
Nothing I want to share on the podcast. Yeah.
And guys, if you listened to us last week, we just have to reiterate that when we say stuff like that, it's not that much.
It's not crazy. It's just like, I do not want to reiterate stories of how like men with wives are now trying to.
Yeah. So don't worry. Don't feel like we're holding out on you, all the good stuff. It doesn't get that much better than what we're talking about now.
Not yet.
As in, because like we're going to have an amazing cuffing season.
I just feel like I'm in the mood to make
bad decisions.
I didn't want to say it.
It was on the tip of your tongue, sweetie. I saw it.
In like a mature, fun way. I'm in the mood to have. No, that's not true. I'm like the Beyonce song. I'm in the mood to get fucked up and fall in love.
Yeah, like
that's a lie. I just want to have fun.
Like crazy, cool, consensual, fun.
I just want to have fun. Like I want to go out. I want to like meet people and talk and be silly and lose my keys. No,
definitely not that.
I haven't lost my keys in years. God forbid. That was just joke. Have you seen? This is so random. It keeps going into my head. Have you seen the video? Oh, I'll just send you the video and we can talk about the silly rabbit video.
I don't think so.
I was his silly rabbit. Is that what he called you? No. I'll send it to you. I always consider it. It's always laugh. Okay, something else we've been gagging to talk about.
Absolutely.
Oh, and by the way, if you haven't watched it, spoiler alert, because now we're gonna. I want to spoil, like I want to spill the beans. So we're gonna talk about House of Dragon so far.
We're midway through the season, I think. A little
Yeah.
over midway. I don't know.
I think we're midway. I think there's been 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there's been 5 episodes. I still have to count out loud, guys. Cute. But yeah, I want to talk about what's actually happened. So if you haven't watched it, just fuck off.
Tune it out. Yeah. If you're not going to watch it, do stay though and try and follow along.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Even if you want to watch it and you want, like, some people don't care about spoilers. If you don't care about spoilers, stay with us. It's funny. And it doesn't, to be honest, I would still watch the show even if I had it spoiled. It's not like you need to not know what's going to happen to enjoy it.
Yeah. And they're not that crazy. Like,
no, there's only one
spoilers.
The one episode that I thought was they were trying to be crazy, I hated, the wedding episode. That was dumb to me.
You've had the red wedding. Don't bother, guys. Just don't try and be clever with weddings.
I'm just laughing because I saw an interview with, like, I don't know if he's a producer, showrunner, whatever. One of the creators of the show. I watch these dumb videos on YouTube. I prefer the fan ones. I don't like the actual creator ones. But it was like it auto-loaded, and it was like one of the creators being like, everyone always expects a crazy wedding on Game of. I was like, X. I hate crazy weddings on Game of Thrones. Like, that's not a thing. Like, the reason that we enjoy those episodes is because it was like a genuine moment. You can't just fabricate something just to be like, oh, look how crazy.
And the first one you did, when you kept doing it,
looking back, it is funny. Like, that wedding was funny.
Brutal.
Where do you want to start? What do you want to talk about? We can talk about the latest episode because I know you want to get into the genetics of the kids.
Well, I do feel like in the latest episode, they needed to explain, like, maybe have like a super on at the beginning for the time jump.
I don't think so.
Well, I do.
Maybe because I spend so much time watching YouTube videos. I was like, this has clearly been explained by 12 people on YouTube.
We knew that it was going to happen because I've seen so many stories about. Well, I mean, okay, I've seen a lot of stories comparing the younger women, Alicent and Rhaenyra, to their older counterparts.
The younger women, by the way, I'm not saying obviously the older women are doing fabulous, but the younger women did really fucking well.
They did, yeah.
Really,
they did,
well.
And I always look up. Well, not always, but I often look up who the people are. And also where they're from, because so young Rhaenyra is an Australian actress. Like, who decided that everybody in Westeros has a British accent? Like, who just decided by default?
Are they not in Britain?
They're in Westeros. It's a made-up place.
I always thought
just
that
like
it was
Middle Earth. Middle Earth, when we get to Rings of Power, made up.
But I always thought it was Britain, except for I felt like Westeros was like a colonized land.
No, Westeros is still Britain. Maybe you're thinking of like Pentos and Valyria, like the
Sorry, my bad. Yeah. I'm thinking of King's Landing.
Okay.
Like it would be if England had colonized Paris or something, or maybe somewhere more exotic.
No, because Westeros and the north, that's all connected.
Yeah, it's on one island.
Thinking about geography. The point is, they are. Or maybe it is a comment on European colonization or British colonization that they.
Yeah, English people think they're the center of the world.
But
American
this is not a
do.
British show.
It's American, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like when it's their ancestry. It is.
Anyway, that's just
because American imperialism is just an extension of British imperialism.
Yeah, very true. But I suppose it would be weird if suddenly one of them was speaking with an Australian accent.
I'm sorry, Australians.
Let's leave it there.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, the young actors are good. I mean, I think all the actors are good.
Better than Kevin. I know you were never a big fan of that accent.
Yeah, true.
I hate to say it, but I am really fucking enjoying this show. Child brides aside, honestly.
That's one thing that I've got to say, that why do we still have to write things that are like historically accurate in terms of our history when this is a fictional, like, I sort of get it, but I also don't. Like, can we not move the needle a little bit? Why?
No, because it's not pure fantasy, is it? It's like pure fantasy would be like drama. Making up. Has anybody done a very popular show that is pure fantasy, completely made up, apart from Avatar? But that has humans in it, right?
Yeah, Lord of the Rings.
But they're just like
as in
English
because they've still got humans.
I just mean they're like literally men. That's just in Yorkshire, right? That's the show. They're literally in the Yorkshire Moors. Like, that's just down the road.
I always thought that the Shire was modelled on Lancashire. But maybe we'll.
Of course, you fucking did. Let's not get into the roses.
Let's not get into
and the what's the war?
I actually think it is the war of the Roses.
You know, just so ridiculous. Yorkshire ended like you guys have. You need to grow out of it. Honestly, of course you did. You're like Yorkshire. Who? Never heard of it. I always thought
Tolkien is dead.
I bet he has.
Okay, we'll get onto this debate when we get to Rings of Power, whenever that episode
and just for the non-English and sometimes just non-Northern.
Oh, come on, they know. The
Southerners don't know anything.
You've all watched. If there's one thing that like TV shows love to do, it's rehash that period of time within you. Yeah.
But basically, like, it's like a thing, Lancashire v Yorkshire. But it's also like the whole nation is beefing. I've never seen an island that hates each other. Yeah. It's so funny because England have done so much evil in this world. Their neighbouring nations who share land with them fucking hate them.
Yeah. They've just really taken that spirit and turned on each other.
Horrible, horrible people. Yeah. Imagine like if you're English, like at some point, like you have to accept that your ancestors looked over to Ireland and they were like slaves.
Yeah.
That's so fucked up.
An uncomfortable truth that British people won't.
I don't think they even know. But then I say true. That, but then even amongst tribes, like there's a thing like I'm not going to get on my high horse. It's like a thing like there's certain Nigerian tribes that see other tribes as their like helpers in life. Do you know what I mean?
Well, same in India with the caste system.
Again, who introduced that? That wasn't there before, was it?
No, but
not
it's
to the
not
extent.
as if there was. I mean, I'm pretty sure like the kings and
absolutely,
various different states
absolutely, because monarchies are imperial units. Like that's how it works.
they do need the underlings to.
Yeah, so it's like kind of and I completely understand it. I'm not trying to take away from people's like need to see themselves as like their full history as powerful people with their own like monarchies and history. But when people are like, we were kings, I'm like, that's not. It wasn't great, was it? It's like, yeah. And like my dad said to me like the other day, he's like, yeah, but this is like literally our culture. Like we have royalty, we have kings like now, not like even like that. Oh, also side note. Okay, so guys, you might not know this, but so where I'm from in Nigeria, Nigerians will always ask you where you're from. So like I'm Delta State in the south. So there's a new king of Warri. Oh my, he's polygamous. We think we're hoping. Sorry, guys.
Are we going to talk about objectifying another person?
Oh my God, that man. When I saw him, because I was like, I don't believe in monarchy, but I might have to go. I might have to go.
But I could be his queen.
Oh, honey, oh my God, they had no business upon it. That man is gorgeous. Oh, it was so funny because I was actually in a church when somebody showed me, and we were thirsting over it. Oh, that man is fit. Sorry, the king of Rubberland. If you're single, if you're like, because some like a lot of people, like my family used to practice polygamy. if you want to get antiquated, honey. And I didn't mean acquainted, guys. I literally meant antiquated. That was supposed to be like a joke. I just have to explain
Hang on words.
in case you think I'm dumb. I am, but not right now.
Okay, back to House of the Dragon.
Yeah. Okay, I know you fancy Damon, so let's just talk about it. Because stop it. You don't fancy him.
He I don't know. He looks a bit
That's crazy to me.
Well, look at me, shocking.
You actually are.
He's just like all the various I think the various wigs that and the styling of the actor's hair perturbs me.
You like that hair? Remember
I'm
you talked about it before, and I was like, that hair looks disgusting. And you were like, it wasn't bad. When we were talking about
clearly I was blind when I was watching the trailers.
Okay, to be fair, they do change the
I shouldn't say
colouring.
blind. Clearly I was just like really not
it was a horny time.
Oh yeah. I mean, I won't say that, but I think
redacted.
Oh god. I don't know that I think that this is a super beautiful cast, actually.
No, but they're hot. Let's be real. Like, it's like I'm a human, so I don't necessarily go for the most beautiful.
Subscribe to the human race.
We're all one race, the human race. You know how much it annoys you when people say that? We're all one race, the human race. And they always say it like they're the first person to think of it. It's like, why did you say
And what horrible thing are you about to say, or are you justifying?
I know, like it's like to sweep something like we're talking about a really serious issue and you're just like, we're all one race. Yeah. Okay. I'm his silly rabbit. Does he call you that? No. Sorry. Yeah, I hate to say it, but in the last Damon. I don't have a thing for him, but I would. Yeah. He looks like he chokes.
He's got that darkness that makes you think he could show me a thing or two.
Yeah, at first it was like, I'm not attracted to you, you're a mess, and you're just here for entertainment value. But by the last episode, I was like,
but when you're leading me into a den of sin, okay,
that was messed up.
That was
messed up.
I saw something like, memes of whatever. Of course, that's the only thing I've seen
memes
where people
so
are like,
funny.
We're like all like horrified in Game of Thrones with Jamie and Cersei, and now we're all like, the tension between those two though is fucking off the chart.
I just thought it was good acting, but yeah, I feel like he'd have sexual tension with anyone in that character because he's just like sadistic.
Yeah, but between them, like, yeah, good acting between them. They really like.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. I don't know how much
was it necessary? Yeah,
I don't know how much I want to encourage this, but they are who they are. They're destined in some ways.
Targaryens. Yeah,
yeah. And what was I going to say? I can't remember. Oh, it was like some of them are making me laugh and people are like comparing, like, you know how people are getting really upset about the black people in Rings of Power more so than in House of Dragon.
Game of Thrones, yeah.
And it's just like someone tweeted like everyone's furious about black people in Rings of Power while encouraging the incest in House of Dragon. Like uncle, like hitting on his much younger niece, like trying to like show her a thing or two. That's fine, but don't you dare bring these black people over.
An elf? Black? No.
That's where I draw the line. Oh God.
I know it's a different show, and we'll get to that when we get to it. But when I watched the trailers for Rings of Power, I did not realize that that Lenny Henry was the half foot that's in the trailer.
I'm sorry, Lenny Henry is in Rings of Power.
Yes.
Obviously,
he's a
guys,
Hobbit, which is basically it's a Hobbit. Essentially, that
is so. For some reason, that feels like really good casting because he is a fucking Hobbit if ever.
You can't. I just couldn't recognize him from the trailer.
That is so funny to me. Lenny Henry, by the way, to those that don't know, he's a Birmingham icon. The most brummy of brummies. That's funny to me.
Yeah.
They're really pushing, like, so both me and my cousin, by the end of like a few weeks, we were like, we have to watch this show. Amazon Prime have bought like all the billboard space in Nigeria. But like, no, sorry, not obviously not. But so there's like on this, there's like I can't be asked to explain the geography of Lagos City, but like there's a specific area where lots of people work and they've bought like all the ad space. It's like basically like the traffic there is the worst traffic.
Show? What are they promoting?
Rings of Power.
Oh,
sorry,
I see. Okay.
Sorry, I left out the violin information. Rings of Power is everywhere. By the end of the trip, at first I was like, I'll watch the show because I know we're going to talk about it eventually. But I was like, you know what? I want to watch this show. Advertising works.
Yeah,
literally,
it does.
Every time you're looking up, it's like Rings of Power, Rings of Power, Rings of Power. Yeah.
It's good. It's really good, but I love Lord of the Rings. Absolutely loved it.
How is it comparing? I know you can't really compare the shows, but in terms of which one you're most excited to watch?
What do you mean? Sorry, House of Dragon.
House of Dragon, because at the moment I'm really excited to watch House of Dragon.
I think about this often, and I guess I flip-flop when I watch the things, but I get something completely different out of Game of Thrones because, as we've touched on, House of the Dragon to me is still... Sorry, just give me 1 second. Mango's barking. Actually, hold on 1 sec. Sorry, guys. My little dragon is making herself known. House of Dragon for me is still like a historical fiction. So it's kind of like fantasy, but historical fiction. Whereas Rings of Power is complete fantasy in a way that I feel like we haven't had for so long.
Natalie has been gagging for some real fantasy.
But you know, like we've had a lot of fantasy stuff, but not in the realms of like because this world is such an epic fantasy, and it's so reminiscent of the films, which were massive when we were kind of growing up.
Arguably,
and we
like
don't get
the biggest
movies
films
either. The biggest films, and now stuff like that doesn't get created into movies anymore, or it's so easily
it's Marvel.
But it's then so easily accessible on streaming services quite soon afterwards. Whereas with Lord of the Rings, that was like it was a big event going to the movies, watching it. Everybody watched it.
Everyone did.
Super mainstream, and it didn't come out on fucking DVD for like ages afterwards. So you had to see it at the movies, and they came out in like quick succession, like one
every year, wasn't it?
Yeah, every
2
year.
years.
And one every year, because they filmed it all kind of in one go so that they could do it like that. And I just, even though the Rings of Power is obviously they've changed, they've moved with the times and gone with the format of having a long format TV show and releasing it on streaming services weekly, it still feels like that.
An epic.
Like big epic fantasy. And a lot of the TV shows that I think we've had in that realm don't hit the same way for me. They're still good, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like this is the best thing ever. It just feels different. But I'm also somebody, I grew up like watching the films in the cinema. I would watch them. I'd regularly do marathons. They'd be things that I'd constantly watch time and time again, especially if I was hungover, because you can fall asleep and then wake up and you know exactly what's happening. There was, such a comfort to it. So, and the cast was
Legolas. That's all I remember.
Oh my God, so hot. And Aragorn.
I don't know Aragorn. Oh, of course I do. Yeah. The fact that I've never watched it, the The thirst was real though.
Yeah.
I don't think I was allowed to watch it because I was like just turning, like I hadn't turned the age yet. So like my cousin and my sister would go and watch it, and I didn't
you're a
go
bit
with
younger than I am. Okay.
I was like on the cusp, but obviously that's when I was still like, now it's so different. Like we would take a 7-year-old brother to watch a 12, but like then it was like a thing where you can't really, unless your parents said you could go, which they never did for me. Gotta go. It just shows how much more relaxed things have got as well. Because I feel like by the time I was like 15, like I'd already started watching 15s compared to when I was like 10, 11 and I was not allowed to watch a 12. It's crazy. Unless I was like watching it with someone, like I couldn't go to the cinema and watch a 12.
No, but we had 12s, whereas a bit later on, there was 12A.
Yeah.
So it was like, whatever. You're going to see it anyway. So.
And it is true that it's like, okay, it's not that deep. Like if you want to bring your kids, like it's fine. You know your kids. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what were we talking about before I went on that big rant about?
We were just talking about House of Dragon. But like now we're talking about it, I have nothing to say. It's so funny. I've been dying to talk about it. Now it's like actually coming to it. I was like, I've got nothing to say.
I don't feel like that much has happened, even though I guess lots have happened. For me, it feels more like it's just, and this is kind of similar, I think, to how the book was. I can't remember what it was called. That I was really excited to read, but it wasn't actually a novel. It was more like in 1801, Aben the something had sex with his sister, and they had a child. It was like a genealogy. It was fucking boring. So I gave it away.
I'm really, really enjoying this show though. I am. I'm invested. Yeah. I think like the characters are good. And like, I just feel like the problem is I don't know any of their names. So who I thought was Romero, what's her name?
Who the hell is Romero?
I've been calling her Romero.
Raineri?
Raineri.
I can't eat.
Raineri.
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 Sorry, now you're making me question what people are called.
Crazy name. My name is literally Kewa. Like, who am I to judge? Raineri.
It's definitely not Romero.
Okay, the artist formerly known as Rainera.
Yeah.
Her name is Rainera.
Yeah.
That sounds right. No, Rainera. So Rainera's baby daddy.
Harwin, Lord Harwin.
Yeah, Harwin something, Frost, Kirk, Butch. What was it? Something to do with fighting. Strong. Butch. Yeah, he was sexy to me. His brother, I love how they've like
Larry's.
But it's just so it's like they gave us, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to be so crass, but it's true, they gave us like one character to like break like stigma and stereotypes around disabilities. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
and he's the and
then they've just gone straight back to the trope of like, oh, if somebody has a disability, it must be evil.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
And he is.
Yeah.
Also, can we talk about how long Viserys is holding out? I thought he died in last episode.
Bring me my grandson. There were so many people. Shout out to the meme makers. You guys are so funny. Somebody put like, I posted on Twitter, somebody put like a dried potato. Said, bring me my grandson. Someone was like, put like a skeleton. It was like, bring me my grandson. He looks bad.
He looks real bad. And he already looks bad. How have you held on for another 10 fucking years?
A flesh-eating virus doesn't, it's just like an unexplained flesh-eating virus doesn't mean anything, apparently.
Well, yeah, apparently not. But yeah, okay, if we're going to get into just my bugbear with this latest episode, the genetics of the kids, because they have to make it, or they're trying to make it obvious that Rhaenyra's kids, none of her kids are her husband's, who is, what's it called? I'm going to say like...
let's just call them Valerian, because I don't know the family thing.
Or Valerian, even.
It's not Valerian.
No, they are
Old
Valeria.
Valeria.
They're from Old Valeria, but that family is Valarian.
Oh, their surname is Valarian.
Yeah, not
just
yeah,
to
but
piss
they are
me off and make it even more
exactly.
But can we just call them all Valerian in general, just so we know that that's what we're talking about the blonde people?
As in the Targaryens and the Valarians.
Yeah. The Targaryens and the Valarians are Valerian, right?
Yeah.
And they want to prove that those kids couldn't possibly be like purely Valerian children.
Yeah, yeah.
Even though I know what you mean, because even though Rhaenyra's sibling, Rhaenyra, what's her name?
Rhaenyra's her siblings, whose father is obviously Viserys, he's a Targaryen king, and the mother is Alicent, who has like brunette hair, and it's kind of like why are her kids?
Oh, I thought they were like brunette / ginger.
Well, whatever. The point is, her kids are redheads. Pure blonde.
I've seen a lot of redheads who have blonde children.
Oh yeah, okay. Because if it's a recessive gene, I don't know. Like,
I don't know either.
The point is, her kids look like they were
Targaryens,
bred from 2 Targaryen parents.
Yeah.
Sorry, I said bred. Whatever.
They are bred,
but it's breed, yeah. And
those children are not born out of love.
So it just doesn't make sense to me that they've done it so that the kids look. It's obvious that they're not the Valarian fathers.
But maybe the Strongs have strong genetics. No. He was so fucking hot. And the thing is, when I first saw him, I wasn't interested. By the end of the episode, I was like, put me over your shoulder and take me away.
Take me to Harrenhal, that fucking haunted house.
Anyway,
but what was I going to say? Have we seen him before?
Yeah, so the first time we saw him is when he put Rhaenyra over his shoulder at the wedding.
In the messy wedding, okay.
Yeah, like when everyone was like bucking, he went and saved her. That was insane. And what's his name?
I see. So right,
Sir Kerwin Frost. Kerwin Frost is a person. I'm so sorry. He's actually a person.
Who are you talking about?
Kerwin Frost is like someone who does like a lot of interviews. I don't know what his title is, but it's just so funny that I thought what is his name? His name is not Kerwin Frost.
But who are you talking about?
Loris something.
Who?
That incel
guy that does. Oh, Solaris.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
He was so fit to me. And then when he started doing that speech, no, I genuinely thought he was hot. And then when he started doing that speech to Rhaenyra saying that they should run away together.
Sorry, you're talking about somebody else. No, I was talking about the guy that cuts people's tongues out.
Oh no.
Sorry, you're talking about Sir Crispin Cole. Kristen.
Yes, Kristen. Yeah, I thought he was hot as fuck. But when he started that speech, I'm not joking. As he was speaking, I was like, have you always spoken like that? You're so unattractive.
In this episode.
He repulses me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, I can't believe I used to find him attractive. He's disgusting, which just goes to show, why does he speak like that?
Also, it's very annoying that he thinks that Rhaenyra would actually run away with him. She's basically made a situation where they can still keep having sex.
No, but he's like in love with her. He wants. I
get that, and I respect, but you can't be angry with her. You just gone. He goes full, like you say, full incel and full like, well, fuck you.
But he's always been like that. It's just we just had no idea because we just assumed that he was a good guy. Which just goes to show.
Also slept with the princess. So,
and how old was she? No shade.
I think at that point 17.
Okay.
But still,
that's
what I mean. Like, why do we have to keep writing things that could these characters not just be at least a little bit older? We don't have to make things like historically accurate because this is a fantasy land. So why can't we make them a little bit less fucking gross? Why is it always old men? Like,
fucking their
being married
teenage
to-
daughters'
Yeah.
friends.
Jesus Christ. This is why I feel like people, like writers, need to do just a little bit better by us.
They'll never do it in Game of Thrones. It's not the vibe. It's not the vibe, honestly. But yeah, I thought he was doing it. For him to like hate her so much is so funny to me. It's like, it's not that serious.
It's also fueled on by Alicent. Those two are like egging each other on.
Yeah, but I feel like he's way, way worse to me. I know everyone hates Alicent, and she gets on my nerves because she's just ew.
I guess she's trying to survive though. She's like trying to not be.
She's doing the
irrelevant
most. She's just doing the most. She's just pissed off because her friend. And the thing is, I know there are people like that. There are genuine, like, obviously, like, I'm from a slightly different culture. So, like, I was joking about this to one of my cousins. It's like when people like are watching Game of Thrones, obviously with like the laws changing in America and stuff like anti-abortion, I'm sure they're feeling it as well. But being from the culture that I'm from, sometimes I just feel like people look at these like quaint shows and they're like, oh, how funny. And I'm just like, no, we still live like in some ways. Yeah, this is still a thing. This is still real.
Culturally accurate.
Yeah. So there are women like that who, especially when they're young, but she's too old to be doing it, who are like, they follow the rules. And so they like really internalize like the sex purity thing. And when you don't, like they really will be that upset that you're doing stuff. Yeah. But to be fair, like when I was a young Christian girl, but when I was shocked by some of the things that people were doing, because I just was like, I didn't know we were doing this. But in fairness, like I'll tell you off air, and this one is scandalous, listeners. So I can't, it's as juicy as it sounds. But when you see certain people doing stuff, it's a shock. You're like, is this what we're doing? But they weren't just like sleeping with hot guys. They were doing some much.
Going back to Rhaenyra, she does need to have children to carry on the line.
I really thought that her husband would have children with her.
Yeah, you would have thought like, okay, you've got an arrangement, sure, but maybe
obviously,
like
that's
you do
part
have to
of the
have
arrangement.
Like, the arrangement still means even though you don't want to sleep with women, you do have to sleep with me a few times so that I can like
once
bear
a year or whatever. Yeah,
and also for her, she's like, well, we can get this done another way, so why not?
Or it's just not intentional. Like it's just like that's who she's sleeping with anyway. There's no birth control, so obviously that she's most likely going to have his kids.
Yeah. I'm just getting my charge of it. Carry on.
Yeah. And might I add, why wouldn't you want to have that man's children? I would love to have that man's children. Oh my God, if he walked in right now, I'd be so scared. I'm sorry. I don't know. I'd be like, what are you doing here? This distraught. Guys, I'm so sorry. You know what it's like when I have to do filler. Terrible. Oh my gosh. But yeah, he's dead now, so RIP.
Yeah, and can we just say, Alicent, you did know, you had to have known that man would...
That guy's nuts. Why is she friends with such weirdos? Her dad is a fucking weirdo too.
Oh, he is so weird.
She's friends with the two weirdest guys
she
in the whole...
not be friends with her dad.
Okay, fair enough, but does she have to be friends with the incel and the man who burnt his family alive?
Yeah, but he was so calculated in that he befriended her when she thought that she had no one and nothing and that everybody was turning against her.
So she needs to get
He essentially groomed her when her father had already groomed her to be the king's next wife. She was just used. She was a pawn in the Game of Thrones.
Well, she's going to be dead soon. So I
thought it was a bit much, the scene where she walks in on her we don't know, walks in on her son jerking off out of a window. Like, was that necessary?
No, I
or
thought
is it just to be like, but boys will be boys.
Yeah, because that happens. I feel like that happens to everyone. I'm sorry, but it's a very normal thing.
He's standing inside a window, just
but that's
to the
just
outside.
It's to show like how like brazen, and because it's like the contradiction between what she's saying about her precious fucking son, which is another thing I can relate to about these fucking mothers talking about their precious sons who are literally wanking out of windows. Please get a grip. Please.
And she has a daughter that clearly has some serious issues.
She has the gift of sight. Leave her alone.
Does she have the gift of sight? Is that?
Yeah.
I didn't.
Did you not hear her saying like, he'll have to close an eye? So, okay, we get it. You're playing with the centipede and you're predicting the future.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so funny because she looks just like her aunt.
Exactly. So
they're literally family. Like, if anyone's the odd one out, it's what's her name?
Alison. The
mother. In her dreams. But yeah. Oh, that's
it.
All
Just
I
doesn't make sense that Alicent's child would look exactly the same as Viserys' child with his actual Targaryen wife.
I don't know, like, okay.
I mean, come on.
No, I know what you're saying, but like, okay, so in my family, sometimes I like, especially going home and stuff, seeing it, like, it happens where like a grandchild will look exactly like I have one young cousin, one technically a second cousin, who look like people from, on one side they look like people from both of them 2 generations ago, and like their parents don't necessarily look like the people they look like, but they look exactly like older family members. I'm not joking, exactly. It's uncanny. Genetics are fun, man. But yeah, they obviously did that to be like, yeah,
it's a thing, but fine, whatever.
Yeah, and they love like an honourable brown-haired, fucking curly-haired man, don't they? We get it.
Oh yeah, like what? I don't think they're not somehow strong. I don't know, but the hand of the king when he had to just feel like I got to give it up. If it hadn't been for him forcing Viserys to actually face into the fact that, you know, Rhaenyra,
he couldn't take the heat anymore because he was like, my son is going to get himself killed. Like, this is not like, that's his baby.
Yeah, but he could have just exiled. Like, he was already exiled. Why does he then have to give up his position? Do you know what I mean? It's like,
oh, maybe he doesn't want to die either.
That was a bit much.
Maybe he's just like, do you know what? Keep your drama out.
True, because as soon as the king dies,
yeah.
So he had to be, yeah, you're right. He's like,
but everyone was saying this because of his honor. He felt compromised. He knew he just like couldn't live with it.
He saw the writing on the wall and he didn't want his head to be there as well.
And little did he know, his son plotting, scheming.
His fucking sick son. But then we don't, I mean, okay, there shouldn't be any real justification for patricide or
don't lie,
parricide, whatever. But like they probably
of all
that
the
kid awfully,
horribly. But then it's just like they don't seem like they would have.
But you never know.
And also some of his behavior is not about treatment. He has like sociopathic tendencies. Like you can tell it's like a bit more of like a
He's exactly got the look.
But, I
feel like we need to wrap up, but before we do, we just want to talk about how good the dragons are. We can't not mention them. It's called the House of the Dragons, for God's sake. I just love them.
No, they are doing their thing.
Yeah, and in this last one, when Ellen,
I don't know any of their names. I just call her like the main dragon rider. Because that's the oldest dragon. That's Aegon's dragon, right? Yeah,
when she obviously was going to die because she in childbirth.
She wasn't necessarily going to die. Because everyone was like, it was so sad. It's so honorable. I'm like, but she wasn't necessarily going to die.
The baby wasn't coming. They would have had to do a cesarean.
Yeah, and then
she
Damon
probably would have died.
No. I love that he's the only name I know. He said no. The doctor asked him and he was like, nah. And then she was like, fuck you, I am out.
No, he asked the doctor, will the mother live? And the doctor said
if
no.
they cut her, because he was saying, I want to cut her.
That's not, because it was basically reminiscent of what happened to Viserys'
Yeah, but Damon
wife.
has made... Okay, so what happened was, this is how I understood it. The doctor was like, the baby's not coming. I could cut your wife open and take the baby out. Damon said, will she make it? The doctor said, no, meaning if I cut her open, she won't make it. Then Damon said, then fuck it. No, don't do that.
Yeah.
And then she got up and was like, I'm going to die now because I'm choosing my own death.
I'm doing my rider's death. Yeah.
Yeah, but she might not have died.
How would she? The baby wasn't coming.
Does that mean you die?
If the baby's in distress and it's not coming, sorry, we need to put a trigger warning on this.
Sorry, sorry.
Like, that was it. So she did what she knew she had to do to be able to go on her terms.
Wanted to, go on her terms.
Yeah, because that was otherwise.
She was a beast though. Like one impact.
I'm sad to see her go.
Yeah, same. One impact.
Yeah. Yeah, she was a great character.
Yeah.
But I suppose this is now like paved the way for Damon to come back into Rhaenyra's
So what's he going
life.
to do? Are those two going to, like, I genuinely, like, no spoilers, guys, I'm making this up. So, like, what are they going to just, like, when her dad dies, his brother dies, are they just going to be like, fuck it, we're getting married?
We're taking the throne. They must, it must be, because they can't, there can't be a situation, a future where nothing happens with those two.
Yeah.
Like, that feels weird.
Because really, if they kill Alicent and just take their siblings into the house and nieces and nephews into the house, and they're just like, we're one big happy family, who's going to say anything?
I think that they would probably just get rid of the whole line, though.
No, they can't do that. That's mean. That is not very nice. Yeah, but let's see what happens. I think that the battle's being brought to them, actually. I think that they actually don't want smoke, but the smoke is coming. So
also, I think they're going to have to eradicate the, like, Velaryon side, no?
Why?
Because, they're not, that family isn't, where is that family in the Game of Thrones series?
Oh, eventually, yeah. But I think I didn't think that was going to happen. I thought for now they're definitely united.
Maybe not for now, or maybe not even. Maybe there'll be future, because there is quite a lot of time between this.
Yeah, loads
happening in Daenerys.
And I kind of figured they would die because the same way the Targaryens died, like all of those guys had to go. I just figured that. I didn't think about it.
Yeah, but the
Strongs?
Velaryon, they never. Well, hold on. I just need to figure out what they're called, because I do actually. Oh,
not you saying what you're Googling. I love it when we do that. So, like, we're literally on the podcast Googling, like, House of the Dragon.
Yeah. Kristen Cole. Yeah, we knew. Right. Okay. Where's Lord Corlys gone? I guess he's dead.
I've got to say something.
Okay, go on.
Sorry, I don't know their names. Rhaenyra's husband, right? Being the guy from Chewing Gum?
Chewing Gum. Oh, yeah, it must be. It is, yeah.
That is so... Because you know the character he played in Chewing Gum was like...
I haven't seen it in so long. The character
he played in Chewing Gum was Michaela Cole's character's first boyfriend. You know, they were like uber Christian. And he was like, I don't believe in sex before marriage. And he used to make her just feel really belittled. He was just not a nice guy, but he was also coincidentally gay and closeted.
Yes, I do know.
Like, he was such a funny character that as soon as I saw him, I was just like, I cannot take you seriously. He's funny.
Been in other things, though, I think.
I've only seen him in
where he's, But Ryan Core, who is Harwin Strong, is Australian. Just let you know.
Apparently I like Australians.
Yeah. But yeah, they are the strong family. Yeah, where do they go? Who knows?
Or maybe they're in the north somewhere. I don't know. Because I feel like I've heard of, I don't know, there's so many fucking families that you only concentrate on a few. Yeah. Anywho.
So yeah, I guess that's our roundup of the season so far.
What a weird 2-year anniversary episode. But who cares, man? We have to talk about what we want to talk about. Sorry.
We told you how to go and get yourself some attention to make yourself feel sexy or weirded out.
Actually, to be honest, if you want to feel sexy, you just need to like get a few pampering things done, like get your hair done, get a nice outfit.
Take some nice pictures and some good lighting.
Oh God, sometimes that destroys my self-esteem. But I've got to do that this week.
Then it's stuff that you'll have that you remember, and then in another 5 years you look back on and you're like, oh my God, what business did we have being so cute, and why did nobody tell me? What business did anybody have not telling me, hey, you're super cute, you don't even need to worry? So
yeah, I know this sounds cliche because obviously there's the politics of being beautiful and pretty and like what is considered hot and not. But the chances are, statistically speaking, you are fine. Everyone around you is horrible. Like seriously, because think about how prejudiced people are. Like they'll make you feel like you're so ugly. And it's like, there's nothing. I look like a human being. Like, what's your problem? Yeah, which is also like, to be honest, I've got to be honest, like in fantasy, in like horror, I am over the whole like disabled people are evil. I'm over it. Like, it's not just a random disfigured evil person. It's literally like a normal human being that they did it in Midsommar. So they had like, it's a good film, but they had people whose like faces were like disfigured. And they were supposed to be like these like oracle, scary people. And it's just like, but people are born with disfigured faces like that. Who just look like that. Like, why are you building? And also in so many places in the world, even in these so-called progressive countries, people are outcast, people kill children. Why are you feeding into this idea that people who look different are evil? I'm over it. Sorry, guys. Anywho.
What are we watching next week?
Evil cunts. I'll be here next week. Pussy to the microphone. I won't.
Oh.
She looked disturbed. Now she's stressed out because she thinks I'm going to do it. I'm joking.
I was not expecting that. Guys, here's some ASMR for you. It's my pussy to the mic.
It will just be like my bush rubbing against the mic because it's been so long since I pruned. What is it called? Next week. Next week is October, so we'll be entering our Halloween month. Yeah, that's right, guys. The whole of October we are doing Halloween specials.
What we've got what can people look forward to?
I don't want to tell them, but okay. I will say for next week we'll be doing Stranger Things finally.
Oh shit, is it?
Holy God, make a deal with God. Tell him to swap places. Running up that hill. Running up that road.
Keep running up that building.
Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Expect that next week, though.
Yeah, so expect that for a full 2 hours.
We won't even discuss it.
Because I can't remember any of it. Got nothing to say. No, I do. But it's been so long ago that I watched it. It probably won't be like it's not going to be an in-depth summary of what happened. But you guys don't need that because you watched it. So
we'll probably focus on the finale as well because it's just so I can rewatch them. I have questions, which I'm sure you won't be able to answer. Not because...
really definitely won't, but
I don't think anyone will be because it's like, unless you know what's like happened in season 1.
Hold on. Let me get the Duffer Brothers on the phone. Hello? We have questions. Brothers Duffer, You have a lot to answer for.
Oh my God, if we could actually make this podcast like a more entertaining. Thank you to our loyal listeners, by the way, because there are some. There are people who genuinely listen to this that we don't know. And I just think that's so interesting. Unless they're all our stalkers from our past. Sorry, I'm really on the edge. I can't rewatch Stranger Things. I can't do it.
Watch it in the daylight.
Yeah, what daylight? It's like living in Sweden.
Yeah.
Shout out to our Swedish listeners who are like, fuck you.
I mean, I believe they've also just elected a right-wing government. Like Italy,
they've been trying to do that for at least since since autumn winter 14.
Yeah, but it's like all the countries are just like top. I mean, it's been happening for a while, but toppling one by one.
They've been trying to do it, so
yeah.
I didn't know they'd actually finally done it because they've been trying so fucking hard.
Don't quote me on that, but yeah, it's either
when we say okay, I'm not being facetious because I understand fascism is very serious, but when we say that, like weren't America and Britain the first people to elect their more fascist leaders? Haven't we already done what they've been trying to do?
We started the trend, yeah, of course, with Trump and the Tories, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, okay, cool. I just want to make sure
that we're like,
so they're not worse than what is happening. They're just like more of the same backwards nonsense.
Well, I didn't like some of the shit that the Italian prime minister has been saying. That does feel worse because you wouldn't get, like, you know, Boris isn't or Liz haven't outright said some of the shit that they're saying,
but Trump has, or worse.
Well, yeah, yeah. No, I've just been watching some of the stuff that the new Italian prime minister has been saying. But actually,
you know what's sad?
It's like Trump.
But it's the people who are the most affected are. So basically, guys, I'm not a deep take.
Sorry, we're ending.
It's not a deep take, but it's just like, so these few European countries that have basically wreaked havoc, committed genocide and colonized the rest of the world are now putting in place policies that punish those people, like people who are like black and brown or whatever you want to call it, basically non-European people, migrants. That's who they're going for. People who are, it's just like a continuation of the same, but like everyone trying to make it's fucked up, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm no longer apologizing for not fucking with people, so sorry.
Deal with it, guys.
I was like, what did I just say? That doesn't. I just had an out of body experience. I'm not talking about. Obviously, I'm not talking about migrants. I'm talking about fascism. Oh my God.
You know what we're talking about, guys, especially if you've got to this point in the episode. So we're not worried that you don't know by now.
Sorry. Like a deal with God.
Ruth, you've got to save some of that for next week. So on that note, goodbye.
Yeah. Bye. Happy anniversary.
You too.
Wait there just a minute, buddy. Rewind the